Good.
Chilling.
Where are you guys right now?
In LA at my house, just in the dining room. Just
Dining.
Yeah, dining right now.
A meal for kings, last time I checked. So after listening to your recent EP, Euphoria, I reckon you guys have matured far past child and well into young adult. Would you say the same?
I guess so. Might be time for a name change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you consider a rebrand? Surely not.
No.
Probably not.
That would be wild if it was like, you know how Adele puts out different albums for different ages? If like every time you clocked an age, you just changed your name.
Lewis the young adults, Lewis the... Yeah, I feel like though we'd be somewhat limited in like I guess we could go like great grandfather or something, you know, down the line. But there might be a limit to how much we could mature. Adele could, I mean, numbers go on forever, you know. She could put out 1,124 someday if she lived that long. You know.
This is true. At least I see if you guys had proteges, then you could do like Lewis the Child the Second or something like that, you know?
True.
Everyone could just like everyone you've taught down the line could just name themselves after you, create a lineage.
They'd have to be like down to like not have their own brand though, you know? I mean,
yeah. Yeah. You could create like a hype house.
Walking in our shadows all day.
The honor. I didn't realize you guys were like my age as well. You guys were like super young when you started. Were you guys playing in clubs underage then? How did that work?
Not too much. Maybe here and there. Like we did some like a few, but we were more focused on like putting out music that we were making and putting it out on the internet, trying to like send it to different blogs and get our music like popping there before we like tried to do that, because we just thought it was like better for like, you know, it would get us to play bigger shows. Like you go play a show to 100 people and maybe you get like 5 to 10 fans, but like you put out a great song, you could get like 1,000 fans across the internet and then just kind of keep building on that. So that's kind of what we focused on. But we did play a few, like we did some festivals, like some smaller ones, like what was it called? Like Life in Color or Life
in Color?
Yeah, we did that one and we were like super young when we did that. Yeah, just a few though.
Did much change then when you did become of age?
Yeah, I mean, once we left high school, Rob was like in his first year of college. Then we started to like play tons more like Coachellas and like Lollapaloozas, those kind of bigger festivals. And we had a few songs out that people were like coming and just like screaming and singing with us. So like kind of changed a good amount at that point, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, well, I want to talk about this EP because it moves away from your sort of like sweeter EDM that we've seen in the past. It's a lot more hard hitting, a lot more technical, and was inspired by an era that I personally think is the sweet spot in music, the 2009s to 2012. Paint me a vignette of what you guys are up to during those years.
Oh yeah,
man. Those years, I feel like that was like when we were just starting high school. I feel like it were like probably like 7th, 8th grade and like through high school. I mean, we're going to school every day, you know, and we're really like, I feel like we were kind of both of us are two of the few people like kind of at our school and in our area that like really were really obsessed with that like style of music and that genre. Like, I feel like at the time, you know, that was when kids were first learning about like Skrillex and like Dead Mouse and stuff around where we lived, at least. And, you know, kids knew, you know, Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites, but like not everyone knew, you know, who Porter Robinson was yet, or, you know, knew who Kill the Noise was or Feed Me, or like, you know, knew the Knife Party remix to this or that song and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like that was just a time where we were like really first discovering that type of music and falling in love with it and going to our first, you know, music festivals or first like electronic festivals, seeing DJs for the first time, like live, going to, you know, seeing Justice for the first time in, you know, 2011 or whatever. And like, yeah, I don't know. We were just like kids really at the time, like falling in love with a new style of music and like discovering something new.
How did you discover your music at that time? Because for me, when I was like 2009, it would have been like 12 or something. I was just listening to the radio. I didn't really know that you could discover music elsewhere. How were you guys finding it? Were you guys on the internet on SoundCloud, or did you have friends who are also really into music? Or
Definitely SoundCloud. I was digging on iTunes. Like if I found, I mean, I was definitely digging for dubstep. Like once I found the Rusko, Caspa, like kind of pocket of dubstep, I really fell in love with electronic music and then branched out from there. But yeah, lots of iTunes, lots of SoundCloud. What else was around at that time?
I would listen to like different sets and like, you know, Shazam
YouTube,
songs off of that.
Yeah.
Listen to like people's EDC sets and like, you know, be Shazamming stuff, or I'd look up like the words from it and like the artist and try and like dig and find whatever songs they were playing in their shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Damn, that's like super passionate from the get-go. That's awesome. Well, yeah, it was at the end of that period in 2012 that you two met at a Madian concert. And that is full circle because you guys obviously opened for him a couple years later. And another full circle moment is like a man that you've cited as an inspiration and who you cited just before co-wrote or co-produced, I should say, your track Waiting to Feel Like This. Of course, it's Skrillex.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. That's huge. What was the process of like engaging him and like the actual collaboration?
It was kind of I feel like probably the most like interesting way that we've ever created a song. We had, you know, have known Sonny for a little bit, and we've worked with him a couple times in person. We made cool stuff, but never anything that like we developed further. He hit us up one day because he'd been talking to this kid named Eric who had some medical complications, and you know, he was like, yo, I'm teaching this kid how to produce and stuff. And I kind of talked to him every week on like Zoom. And, you know, I asked him who his favorite producers were. And he said he's a huge Louis the Child fan. Like, would you guys mind if in the next couple of days when I hop on Zoom with him again, if I just brought you in just to say what's up? And like, I think it would really make his day. We were like, yeah, totally. A couple days later, he's like, hey, I'm about to jump on. Here's the Zoom link. And we get on and we're chatting with him and this kid, Eric, and Sonny's in his studio, we're in ours, and he's like, we're talking about creating music. He's like, yeah, it starts sharing his screen. He's like, sometimes I'll just, you know, I'll grab a random vocal and start chopping it up like this, and starts like kind of making the vocal chop that ended up being a part of the song. And he's like, you know, I might add this and that and stuff. And soon like Freddy sat down on his piano and we like recorded some chords that Freddy wrote on my phone and sent it over to Sonny. We're like literally just like producing this over Zoom in front of him. Start sending the file back and forth and like kind of showing him like this is how we create songs, and like in the moment just like doing it for fun, you know. And at the end of a couple hours we had like a cool, you know, idea of a production, and we were like, sweet, that's dope. Sonny had to go off to a session, we, you know, did our thing, and then a few months later we got together with our buddy Alexander 23 and to write some music, and decided to write to that. And we kind of approached the songwriting from the perspective of like, you know, we were in the middle of quarantine at the time, but we had kind of could see the light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. You know, we knew vaccines were coming and like, all right, we might be out of this soon. And we kind of were like, all right, let's write lyrics that you would want to hear at like, you know, your first festival back. You know, we're from Chicago, Alexander's from Chicago. We were like, all right, let's put ourselves at Lollapalooza back with like all your friends. Like, what do you want to be hearing? What's like that moment gonna feel like? And that's kind of how we got the inspiration of the songwriting of it. Yeah, that's how it all came together.
Damn, that's crazy. Also, I'm jealous of Eric. Like, he got front row seats to that.
Yeah, and it's dope too because he's like, he came out to a couple shows on our tour, and like he sent me some songs that he produced recently, and he's like a sick producer now. Like, he's really fucking dope.
Hey, part of the lineage, I would say.
Yeah, it's
Number
dope.
one. What's it work? How does it work between you two in studio? Is it kind of like a tag team, or how do you guys work collaboratively?
Definitely. It's just, you know, we both do our separate thing, and also, you know, can bring that idea together and then finish it together, or, you know, we'll make it together. Either way, we just kind of pass it back and forth until it's done. Once we have like an idea that we really like. Yeah, definitely a teamwork type of type of situation.
When you come up with an idea, do you have the feature artists in mind? Because you've got some great names on this EP: Theophilus London, Bea Miller. Do they kind of come after the idea, or do you kind of get approached by these artists to create a track with you? How does that work?
Really depends. Like in the case of the EP, it was like a good mix of like some of the songs, like So What was something that Arizona had sent to us, and they were like, yo, we wrote this song, like we'd love to do it with you. And then we went in on the production, but they did the whole songwriting. You know, something like the song with Bea, we got together with her and we were like, let's make a song, and wrote that in a day with her. In the case of Keep On Moving, that was a song that was on a beat tape of ours that we wanted to get verses on, but didn't get it done in time for the beat tape. So then we like reached out to NEZ and Theophilus afterwards and we're like, yo, we want you guys on this song. It really depends. Yeah. Sometimes we get sent top lines from artists, and other times we make a cool beat and we bring it to someone in person, or we send it to someone and they send us something back. Like there's not really one set way that we always do it, you know?
That's good though. That must keep things interesting for you. You don't have a formula.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys, before I let you go, I'm going to have to settle a debate with you. You're both from Chicago, as you mentioned. So what do you reckon is the best deep dish pizza joint?
Oh, yeah.
I can't have cheese, so
Surely they do lactose-free ones now.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's like a flavor that I don't crave
yeah.
anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'll defer to Freddy.
Lou Malnati's all the way. I mean, it's
Freddy,
all good.
Freddy
you know?
literally got Lou Malnati's
Delivered.
scent.
It's the
The frozen pizzas inside.
Oh my gosh.
They're not in there
Oh
right
my
now.
gosh.
Yeah,
But
Lou Malnati's. That's the one.
that is confirmed.
Shout out, Lou.
But
my
you
armpit.
can't go wrong. I mean, don't take my word on that, but I think there's a lot of really good places. Hopefully you don't.
Hopefully you find the one that's right for you.
You find the one that's right.
Stage advice. Stage advice.
Find the one that's.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is
for you.
But Lou
eat
Malnati,
all the pizza.
Eat it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza's great. So.
Hell yeah. All right, Lewis and Child, thank you so much for joining me, and congrats again on Euphoria. It's awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.